Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective. And today I have eclipsed over 100 days using the Surface Book 2 as my main work computer. Technically it's 112 days, but 100 sounds way more fantastic than 112. Anyway, I wanted to give you a quick rundown of some of the things that have really started to bubble to the surface, both good and bad, after using the Surface Book 2 for such a concentrated amount of time, conducting what I would consider to be a pretty steady pace of work, but also nothing too terribly crazy. First thing is battery life. I take my charger with me out of a force of habit. My day starts at around 7:30 and doesn't end until around 5 o'clock that I need to plug this thing in. And that is awesome. Now, if there's days that I'm doing more heavier computational tasks, I do like to top up because, well, you never know if you're on the road when the next chance you might have to charge up your machine. So I still keep it with me just to top up, but realistically, I could certainly push the battery life that this thing affords. And if you find that you're a little bit starved for battery life, don't forget in this bottom of the system tray that you do actually have options that you can decide on how much of the computer is being pushed in terms of its performance. If you really need to sip that battery life, move that slider over. If you really need that computational power, move it on over to best battery life. This is generally where I like to hang out until I'm like well below like 50%, around 35%, and then I'll move that slider over for longevity if I know I can't charge it back up. The second thing that we need to discuss is kind of the big selling feature that people get excited about but they don't really know how to use, and that is the detach function of this particular computer. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, if this is a feature and a button that you will never press, this is not the machine you want to buy, ladies and gentlemen. There are ones out there that are much better value. However, I can honestly say that now that I've gotten into the habit of attaching, detaching, and rotating this display and using the pen, that it has become very natural feeling. The experience that you have with the touch controls, not even using the pen, is very fluid, and a lot of work has gone into making Windows 10 a very touch-friendly operating system for the most part. Even working in certain document types is not actually that challenging. So even opening up Word and not using it in its touch control mode, which to me I just generally don't enjoy, it is still very easy to navigate fields, and the whole experience feels very, very comfortable indeed. And again, rotation is quick, fast to respond, get access to everything that you really need to do and use. So this to me has been a very positive experience. And if you do have one of these and you're not detaching the display very often, make it a challenge, because that's what I had to do. I made it a very conscious and realistic goal, and I said to myself, okay, today I'm going to find one reason to detach this computer and use it. And I did that for a week, and I learned a little bit. So the next week I said, okay, I'm going to find a reason to detach it twice a day. And I did. And then I learned even more. And I was finding use cases for my computer that I hadn't really discovered before, or additional uses, whether that was wirelessly connecting to displays and presenting material or annotating live for other people to see, or generally just sharing information. It's a little bit cumbersome to take a full-size tablet and like hand it across a table and say, here, take a look at this, because then they have to reach over and hold it. And a lot of people are very hesitant and nervous about holding other people's electronics. And when you just hand them the Surface Book 2 tablet, they're like, oh, okay. And they take it and they look at it and like, yeah, this is kind of nice. And they feel oddly more comfortable handling it, maybe not understanding the price of these devices. But hey, that's okay if it helps the workflow. As I mentioned, the touchscreen is a really great experience, as is the keyboard. I have a mechanical keyboard on my desktop, and I am pretty much matching my words per minute on this little guy with that one. It's a very tactile response feedback situation, and if you need to produce documents and you don't want your hands to be tired or blown out for hard key presses or very firm landings, then this is definitely a keyboard that you should test out and give it a whirl. The last thing that I want to speak to for today, and then we'll wrap it up, is actually the durability of the machine. So this is going in and out of a bag at least 2 or 3 times a day. It's getting moved around, it's getting detached, and there are a couple of places that wear and tear I will anticipate will begin to show up. And for some of you, this will be a detractor, but this is a comprehensive and objective video, so I feel that these things need to be said. The very first one that we are going to examine needs to come with a bit of a disclaimer, because I knocked this thing around a little hard taking it out of the car one day. So it was in my bag, and I had slung my bag around my shoulder, and the bag got caught on the door, and it just flung around and went bam right into the body of the car. And you know when you hear that like really meaty thunk and you're like, oh, that was not a binder or something else. What had actually happened is I pulled everything out, screen was fine, everything was good to go, but I did notice that in the corner here, the detach mechanism and the tablet, there was a gap, and I'm thinking, oh no, did I break the detach mechanism? Because this is actually quite a robust little system. Like, you can pick this thing up by the tablet and shake it around, and it does not let go. One thing that I noticed is if we take a look at the seam, at least to my eye, is about 1 millimeter wider here than it is over here. Now, if that's because I banged it, probably. But it doesn't impact the detach mechanism or anything whatsoever. The other component is if you are a person that carries this around a lot, you will see the occasional kind of, I don't know how to put this, it's a dirt mark. And these will show up from time to time as you carry this around. But the first time I saw it, I was thinking, oh no, did I scratch it with my ring because it's made out of steel? But no, it's just dirt, and it actually rubs right off. Those are a couple of issues of durability. I know that there has been some concern on whether or not the screen will crack and things like that. I cannot report any quality issues or durability issues with the screen. As I said, I did bang it against the car a little hard, and as far as I can tell, there is no functional or really cosmetic imperfections or damage that was long term. Again, I don't know if that millimeter gap was always there or if it's just an illusion. I honestly can't tell. I kind of associate the story because I know what happened. It's one of those little quirks. But to me, this machine is certainly adequate enough in its durability for what I'm putting it through. Again, it's going in and out of bags all day, and I am being left with a very positive impression even after that first 100 days of using it, and I'm constantly looking forward to new ways that I can use this device to kind of improve how I am analyzing my workflow. And I hope in future videos that I can start to go into detail on some of the things that I think that this machine does uniquely well in combination with software, not just hardware, into improving the overall experience. I really want to thank you very much. I know that this video is very late in terms of the gap between my regular content and when this one came out, and I really do appreciate the support of the community that I've had so far, and I really hope that that continues. If you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I do answer practically every question and comment that I get, and I will continue to do that even if the videos are not coming as frequently as some would hope or anticipate, including myself. And once again, thank you for your support. If you think this content in any way was helpful at all, I would encourage you to show your support by hitting that subscribe button. And if you really want to stay on the loop, the notification bell. Once again, I appreciate your support, and I shall see you next time.